Thank you, Bacolod City Mayor Bing Leonardia and Councilor N. Ang for flying here to join us today. Maraming salamat, Mayor Bing and Councilor N. By the way, Mayor Bing, congratulations for winning a second term. A big round of applause. Congratulations, sir. So, in 2017, Tanduay was the world's #1 rum according to the Drinks International Definitive Ranking for the world's million case rum brands. It was a sweet victory. Sabi ko nga, kaya naman. Tanduay naman ngayon, di ba? So in 2018, the challenge was to remain on top because it's harder to be on top, to stay on top. Tanduay, one Asian brand, battling against all other global brands and global giants. Pero hindi pala doon natapos ang laban. Mas matindi pag andun ka na sa taas. So our people rose to the challenge. Exports to the United States, Europe, and rest of Asia expanded. We also embarked on high-profile marketing initiatives such as our partnership with the NBA Golden State Warriors, who unfortunately lost yesterday. We will come back. I heard that KD is coming back, so good news. And we also sponsored the Emmy Awards in LA, just this year. Yeah. So it went well. So all departments, all employees were aligned towards the united goal. So today, it's with profound gratitude and great humility that we announce the result of 2018 Drinks International Ranking of the Million Case Rum Brands. For the second straight year, Tanduay is still world's #1 rum. Thank you. Thank you. So I give thanks to our amazing people in Tanduay, whose dedication and commitment made this possible. What a way to celebrate Tanduay's 165th year anniversary. Congratulations. So as Tanduay continues its international expansion, we never forget to remember our roots. In our 165th year, 165th year. I'm also happy to announce Tanduay is spearheading the celebration of the Rum Festival in Bacolod this August. So people ask why Bacolod? It's because Bacolod is our home. Okay. So we are most thankful to Mayor Bing Leonardia for supporting this festival. We believe Bacolod will continue to progress in your most able hands. We're also thankful to the driving force behind Bacolod's tourism initiatives, Councilor N. Who ensures our city remains preferred tourist destination, creating a dynamic economy for its people. Lastly, and most importantly, I would like to thank all our consumers, all the rum-loving people. Our persistence in delivering the one true rum created from its source in Bacolod has been recognized by the world. So thank you, everybody. So mabuhay ang Tanduay, mabuhay ang Bacolod. So at this point, I would like to present a special gift to our honorable guest, Mayor Bing Leonardia. Salamat sa support sa Tanduay. This is an Asian rum memorabilia designed by Kenneth Kogunpen. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Bong, We would like to call on Honorable Mayor Bing Logardia to give his message to us.
Thank you. Mr. Lucio Bong Tan Jr., the President and Chief Operating Officer, Tanduay Distillers, Tanduay Executives, the media, a pleasant day to all. Mayong hapon sa inyo tanan. It is my privilege to be a part of this momentous event. When Tanduay has achieved what Tanduay has achieved as the world's #1 rum for 2 years in a row makes us all proud as Filipinos. But it makes us, Bacolodons, even prouder that Tanduay embraces Bacolod as its home. Even more, Even more are the people behind the success of this product, who remember to look back and give value to the history behind their product. Dr. Lucio Sitan, who was once conferred the title of Honorary Mayor and adopted son of Bacolod himself, believes so much in the value of companies with great history. Congratulations to Dr. Lucio Sitan, Mr. Bong Tan, and all the people behind the global success of Tanduay. A few months ago, Councilor M. Ang and our former PIO head, LC Balingan, told me of plans for a rum festival in August. I felt excited that a festival in honor of our humble sugar cane will finally be celebrated. It will be a festival about the Philippine excellence in culinary, pastry, mixology, visual arts, and even dance and music. It is a celebration we have all been waiting for, and we thank Tanduay for being on board to support this project. On behalf of the Bacolodons, we would like to invite everyone here to come to Bacolod and experience our festivals. We have reason to celebrate almost every month. This year, we invite you to the latest addition to Bacolod's innovative and fun festivals, the Rum Festival in August 17 to 24. You're clapping your hands at me, Mr. Boy. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Tanduay, and we hope to see you all at the Rum Festival. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mayor Bing. So this August, all roads lead to Bacolod. Yes. All right. So now we will give the floor to our Chief Finance Officer, Mr. Nestor Mendones, for his financial report.
Alright, good morning everybody, and thank you for joining us today. I hope I can keep this within 5 to 7 minutes. My task now is to give you some brief financial review and some good news on the financial front. Of course, starting off with the latest tally made by Drinks International, which showed that for 2 consecutive years, as mentioned a while ago, Tanduay was able to maintain its #1 position as the best-selling rum in the world. We grew by 3% last year against the 2% growth by our closest competitor, Bacardi. Next, just some facts on the latest trends in the liquor market. The liquor market contracted by 3% for the one-year period ending in March. As you can see, all the regions in Luzon showed a decline, but Visayas remained to be a strong market for liquor, growing 10% for the past 12 months. No? However, Mindanao, one of the stronghold areas for Tanduay, contracted by 3%, but the contraction primarily came about because of the reduction in the sales of Emperador or brandy. Tanduay grew in that area by 2%. So what you can see here is the market is contracting primarily because of the decline in the consumption of brandy. However, the decline in the brandy segment was not entirely passed on or taken up by the rum and the gin segment. So there's a leakage actually. And we suspect that consumers are drinking more beer now, especially in the southern Philippines where there's a greater economic affluence. So they're favoring beer in favor of distilled spirits, not only in Vismin but also as well in Luzon. Next. Another good news that we have to share with you is the fact that we were able to get back our market share of 28% on the national level, which went down to a low of 24% in 2014 when the new excise tax regulation was enacted that increased excise taxes by more than 100%. So finally, we were able to retake or regain the market share that we had 5-6 years ago. Another cause for celebration for the Tanduay family. And more importantly, we also were able to recover now our market share in Vismin, which stood at a high of 68% before the brandy competitor came in 2013 and 2014, wherein our market share was eroded to 56%. So again, happily, we'd like to announce that we are now able to get back the market share that we lost to brandy. And we're not close to the market share that we had 5-6 years ago. It is no coincidence that these improvements in market share happened during the time that our COO really put his focus into Tanduay. Another good news, of course, is again, for the second time in the 30-year history of Tanduay, we broke the 20 million mark. And for the past 5 years, volumes have been growing at an average of 7% a year, faster than the 2% average growth for the previous 5 years period. So we had a terrible drop in income in 2013, declining by almost 30% when the excise taxes were increased by almost 150%. Happily, we were able to recover through the patience and hard work of the Tanduay family. Another good news would be we posted a net income of 1.1 billion in 2018, the highest net income recorded in the 30-year history of Tanduay. Although that income included a one-time gain of 257 million coming from the revaluation of the values of our investment properties. However, Even the core income of Tanduay amounted to 917 million, one of its highest in the last 10 years, which translated into a 45% increase over its net income in 2017 of 633 million. For the first quarter of 2019, we hope to continue to improve the bottom line, wherein our first quarter profits exceeded last year's figure by 73%. The improvements, next please, in net income of liquor primarily came about because of the average increase of almost 7% in volume every year, which primarily affected the bottom lines for the past 5 years. Selling prices, on the other hand, increased by an average of 2% a year, just to cover the yearly increases in excise tax. However, cost of sales and operating expenses increased by a higher average of 3% a year, resulting in a contraction of our profitability from 6.6% to 4.7%. For ethanol, which we started selling or producing in 2016, we were selling an average of 3 million liters a month, almost. That's actually the approved registered capacity of our distillery. However, in 2017, there was a drop in volume, primarily because of this strong competition from imported alcohol, ethanol. As you will note, the total consumption of ethanol of the Philippines is around 600 million, and only about half of this, or 280 million, can be supplied by the local distilleries or ethanol producers. That's why there's really room for imported ethanol to come into the country. The liquor manufacturing cost started to increase primarily in 2013, when the excise tax increased by almost 100%. So for the past 5 years, excise tax, which comprises around 33% of our total costs, has been growing by an average of 12% a year. Likewise, the other cost components like alcohol, packaging materials, as well as the other components of production, also increase by an average of 2 to 3% per year. One of the major components of cost would be excise tax. And as you can see here, there is now again a plan by our legislators to again increase the excise tax on liquor. The latest bill filed was filed by Senator Pacquiao, which mandates or proposes an increase that will translate to around 58% of existing excise tax rates. Why are the legislators still, despite high increases in excise taxes in the past on liquor, are still proposing to increase taxes on liquor? As you can see here, in 2013, when they increased excise taxes, taxes on distilled spirits increased by 252% against the previous law on excise tax. For tobacco, it increased by 196%, while for fermented liquor or beer, it only increased by 72%. So it's really surprising why many of our legislators are focusing on distilled spirits compared to beer, when beer accounts for almost 70% of the total 350 million consumption of alcohol in the Philippines. So why don't they focus on beer? And it will result into higher excise tax collection. As you can see here, they only increase the taxes on beer by 72%. Next. So another reason why they say that we should still increase taxes on distilled spirit is the fact that under the old law, the share of distilled spirits was 43%. However, under the new law, it went down to only 37%. And this was primarily because of the higher increases imposed on tobacco products. Another reason is despite the increases in taxes on liquor, the consumption of liquor continued to increase. As compared to tobacco, because of the high increases in taxes, consumption of tobacco, as you can see here, declined from 35% to 25%. So another reason being forwarded, next please, is the fact that despite increases in the taxes, as you can see here, the removals of distilled spirits as well as fermented liquor continue to increase despite increases in the excise taxes compared to alcohol or tobacco, where removals are going down as they increase, as the taxes are increasing. And another reason being posed by legislators is the fact that among Southeast Asian nations, tax on distilled spirits in the Philippines is still the lowest. So we should prime ourselves for more excise tax increases ahead, and this is one of the greatest challenges that our liquor manufacturing industry is facing at the moment. Another critical factor that is now posing a great challenge on the liquor industry is the molasses supply situation. With the entry of the bioethanol producers in 2015, the total consumption of molasses has gone up to 1.2 billion or 1.7 million, including the consumptions of local liquor producers, while the total supply is only 1.1 million. So there's now a shortfall of between 5 to 600 million, 600,000 metric tons. And this, next please, of course, creates a pressure on the prices of local molasses, which, as you can see, has now breached the 10,000 mark again. The latest price that we got in March 2019 is around 11,440 per metric ton, translating to around 42 pesos per liter in cost. So again, that's the other challenge, no, that the liquor manufacturing industry is facing at the moment. For operating expenses, it grew by an average of 6% for the last 5 years. And the major component of our expenses would be advertising, which accounts for about 37% of total expenses, followed by freight and professional fees. So that concludes my presentation on the financial review. I would like now to pass on the floor to our SVP for Sales and Marketing, Mr. Paul Lim, who will now talk on our latest marketing initiatives. Thank you very much.
A pleasant good afternoon to everyone. Honorable Mayor Bing, Councilor Rem, and Mr. Bongtan, belated happy birthday again. Okay, you heard the good news, so please allow me to give you a glimpse on how we made it to be number one and how we plan to move further as a global brand. The market is ripe with the rising demand for premium brands and the growing popularity of cocktail culture. Both trends are driving rum sales globally. So, based on the Nielsen retail audit showed in 2017, Philippine liquor market grew at 4%, with Mindanao posting the highest growth rate at 10% and followed by the North Luzon at 5%. Rum consumption in particular grew by 8% due to the strong performance of the rum in Mindanao. Tanduay's market share increased by 25% in 2017, and the following year, it continued to improve 27%. As Visayas and Mindanao market share, as shared by Mr. Mendones a while ago, we maintained at 67%. The company is ready for this movement in the market. 3 years ahead of this, Tanduay embarked on an aggressive marketing campaign, an intensive dealer retention plan. The company increased its market presence abroad by expanding our distribution in the United States. I think we have currently we have 6 states, and hopefully by end of the year we gain more additional 6 to 7 states more, right? Yeah. So we're also extending our distribution in Europe, hopefully by end of the year, and then we're targeting around 10 to 12 countries in Europe. And hopefully by next month we're able to launch our product in Singapore. Yeah. So in the US, Tanduay volumes grew around 114% from the first half of 2018 versus from the first half of 2017. With Tanduay Gold and Silver Rum now distributed in California, New York, Florida, and Illinois. As I mentioned a while ago, we hopefully be able to launch in Michigan and Nevada, Tennessee, and Texas by end of the year. And a tropical rum, our favorite Boracay rum, is also now available in some part of the US. So this is truly a proud Philippine product, right? Of course, as mentioned by Sir Bong a while ago, I'd like to announce that the company renewed our partnership with Golden State and maintained the naming rights of the Tanduay Club, which is they're going to transfer to their new arena this coming season in the Chase Center. And we also continue our partnership with Barclay and Brooklyn Nets. While being featured in some event, a James Beard House dinner and a private event with Cardi B. Okay? So despite of being relatively new in the US market, in April 2018, the San Francisco World Spirit Competition named Tanduay Silver Rum the best white rum and gave it a double gold medal. This was followed by the gold and silver award by Chicago-based Beverage Testing Institute, the tasting.com, giving Tanduay Rum Gold an exceptional rating and a category winning for column steel rum from the World Rum Awards. Okay. Another Tanduay product that we recently launched in the US is the Tanduay Double Rum. It's a collaborative engagement together with R&D, and actually the brand name Double Rum came from Mr. Lucio Tan Jr. So it's actually an innovative approach of blending a rum. It's a combination of a 16 and a 5-year-old rum, aged for 2 more years in an ex-bourbon barrel. So it's a very unusual process of a rum. So we started distributing it last April in the United States. So, and the good news, they sent us already a repeat order. With this early stage, this product received a gold medal immediately from a wine spirit and wholesaler of America. And likewise, the Tanduay Asian Rum, which is the first product we launched, won another gold from the Rum and Cachaça Master. So, capitalizing the emerging consumer trend, Tanduay entered the whiskey segment last year, which is the Embassy whiskey. It's a low-proof whiskey drink to cater a younger and more affluent consumers who are willing to spend a high-priced spirit in search for a new drinking experience. All marketing efforts had been punctuated by the 4th consecutive Brand of the Year award. Okay, under the spirit category from the World Branding Forum, Tanduay continues to receive our affirmation of our rum structure as a global brand and the world-class quality of our craftsmanship in liquor making. More than ever, we are proud that Tanduay for being true to the source, a proud Filipino product from the finest sugarcane in Bacolod. So it's one true rum, Tanduay. So all that we have done and all that we do in the future should go back to every Filipino. That is why we feel that this is just the right, that moving forward, rum should be celebrated. And as I mentioned by our president, we should not forget our roots. Mayor Bing, ready na kami for the Rum Fest. So see you at Tanduay Rum Festival. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sir Paul. That was a very enlightening speech. So to conclude today's event, we would like to hear from our Chief Operating Officer of Absolute Distillers and overall head of distilleries operations of the Lucio Tanduay Group Companies, Mr. Jerry T, for a different side of Tanduay. This is a purpose-driven Tanduay with the company's sustainable development initiatives.
Hi everyone, a pleasant afternoon. Mayong hapon, Mayor. Yeah. Before anything else, and in behalf of our President, Mr. Bongtan, we would like to acknowledge, of course, the presence of our guest of honor here, Mayor Bing Linardia. Councilor M, thank you for gracing this occasion. And congratulations, Mayor, for another 3 years of the 18 years that you've been mayor. Truly a legendary feat for anyone. Not to mention one term as Congressman of Lone District of Bacolod. Sabi nga ni Boss Bong, wala raw ko kapantayan inyong bigote. And also in behalf of our President, Mr. Bongtan, we would like to acknowledge the presence of our friends from the media who have been, may I say, news hungry, and of course, for what Tanduay had been doing the last few months, and for the future. No? And may I also congratulate, in behalf of our president, the people behind those who made this event possible. Charmaine, Pai, Eggshell, right? Thank you guys for bringing us this press conference. And may I acknowledge also the presence of the rest of the senior officers of Tanduay. Can you please stand up? Mr. Randy Kailes, our production head. Joseph Cheng. And the one that concocts and makes all these flavors of Tanduay is Mirna de los Reyes. And before I start, kudos, congratulations to all the personnel, officers, my colleagues in Tanduay for making us all proud of this achievement. Medyo sabi nga ni boss being number one is being number one is easier than remaining number one. Okay. Today we commemorate another milestone in triumph of our very own true Filipino rum brand. They say it's hard to remain at number one, especially worldwide. I agree. And as a company, we are humbled by all this, and we know this to be evident that for the last 165 years, we have remained the rum of choice of those who knows what a real rum should be. Age-old, affordable quality, and world-class. As a distillery man for the last 30 of our 165 years, medyo matanda na pala tayo dito talaga. I'm proud to be part and to bear witness to the continued transformation of Tanduay, and with it, the alcohol industry. Hindi po ligid sa inyong kalaman na Tanduay told and made possible the rebirth of the alcohol industry by going green. Anyway, let me continue. In the last 15 years, especially for Absolute Distillers, had been a blur for us. We have been able to increase the worth of our company by more than 22 times, while reaping environmental awards, accolades from government and NGOs alike. We were given the Green Heroes Award in 2012 by a British non-governmental organization known as the Green Organization. Perhaps the proudest moment of our lives there in Lian, Batangas, in the small sleepy town of Lian, Batangas. An accolade and achievement unheard of in the annals of distillery operations, not only in the Philippines, but I mean worldwide. But of course, improbable without the full support and inspiration by the man who just celebrated his birthday yesterday. A warm of applause to our President, Mr. Bong. Thank you, boss. I have told this numerous times, but again, for your information, in essence, he just told me to adopt a triple bottom line. A triple bottom line approach in our operations, because as you've known before, distillery in the 1980s has been a big challenge for any company because of its pollution issues. No? So most of you in the media had known this already. No? So triple bottom line it is, no? To focus on social and sustainability concerns, just as we do on our economics. That is the standing order that Mr. Bongtan told me. Focus on sustainability concerns, just as we do on our economics. One bottom line becomes three. To refresh your memories, no? A triple bottom line is an accounting framework, no? With three parts: social, environmental, and financial. Or simply, people, planet, and profit. That is exactly the order of things there here. Profit being the last, people and planet being the priority. Yes, that is the order of things in Tanduay. And we're now working on our fourth pillar, which will be to denote future-oriented approach or long-term outlook for sustainability. So the triple bottom line becomes a quadruple bottom line approach. Note always corporate social responsibility. Triple bottom line tends to gauge a company's level of commitment to corporate social responsibility and its impact to the environment. This concept of sustainability is an unending hymn and battle cry of most developmental goals in Tanduay. Plans and programs of many industries worldwide following a common observation that the world's resources dwindles amidst increasing consumerism. Our industry, the distilleries for one, is one of the most resource-intensive industries which requires huge amount of water and energy. Two of the most utilized resources of industrialized and developing economies. Sustainability henceforth is an imperative policy of a distillery. It is thus for Tanduay and the Lusitan Group of Companies. We now know that if we change and improve the lives of our people, employees, community, and our brethren, coexist with nature, it always equals long-term success. This is Bongtan's formula. That's our formula. In retrospect, ladies and gentlemen, the sustainability measures taken by Tanduay are the following. Technological changes. We adopt newer and efficient technologies to reduce our dependence on nature. We study other aspects of sustainability, trying to get raw materials, study raw materials which can replace molasses as our main substrate. We technological changes, like for example the adoption for our distilleries of bioethanol equipment to answer the call of our government for renewable energy. Bioethanol, as what our CFO mentioned before, had a demand of around 500 to 600 million. And we were asked by the government to participate in this. Your Tanduay answered the call. And right now, we are expanding our bioethanol equipment to Asian alcohol in Pulupandan, Negros Oriental. Occidental man, which will be operational come July of next year. So another addition to our growing bioethanol plants that would include the 50,000 KLPD in Victoria's Milling, of which the Lushotan Group is a minor investor, minority investor. Technological changes like putting up a dehydrator to reduce our dependence on water, fresh water. Our trust is to recycle the wastewater by removing excess water in our effluent. Remember, those effluent is also being brought to the sugarcane farmers for free as liquid fertilizer. A practice that will have to be introduced in Negros also, when Asian alcohol goes into full operation. Another sustainability measure would be process changes. Your distillery had been looking at other technologies, like I mentioned before, for the substrate, but we are looking at yeast, the technology in yeast, because when we deal with yeast, we mean that we reduce our wastewater if we get a good yeast, a hybrid yeast, and we improve the output, the alcohol output of these plants. So if you reduce your wastewater, you become more sustainable. And which brings me to I guess this is the most important aspect of my presentation. A lot of the people from the press have been asking me a while ago of these projects. No? And to tell you about these projects, our corporate social responsibility project had been numerous. No? That is the Tanduay way of giving back to the community. And apart from this, Mr. Bong Tan, had been involved, as you may well know, in mangroves. No? He is an advocate of planting trees. He wants the company to improve our carbon footprint, and his advocacy is to rehabilitate areas where mangroves are found, especially in Boracay. I remember in 2010 when we were launching Boracay Rum, Bong told me, Jerry, how do we pay back? How do we give back to this community? Maybe we can do some environmental work, find out if the mangroves are what's happening to the mangroves here, because we have observed that the mangroves in Boracay had been converted either into real estate, firewood, or port. No, so we cordon off a portion of that mangroves in Barangay Manok-Manok, tama po. And that was 2010, 2011, before the government, 8 years, before 7 to 8 years before the government found out that Boracay is already successful. We've been doing mangroves. We've been educating people there that mangroves is an integrated